Live with Jessica Becker at Central Illinois Blood Bank and the more than half owner of the Viewpoint show, Mrs. Busby. I didn't ask you how you were this morning, did I?
Yeah, no.
I forget.
Now I forgot how I am.
Okay. All right.
You gotta strike while the iron's hot.
Okay. Maybe it's parochial pride, Ms. Becker. I'm not sure, but I seem to think that Lincoln does pretty well on balance. Is that a statement that would be true as far as donors showing up on a regular basis is concerned?
Yeah, you guys have some great donors here.
Got a lot of repeaters.
Repeaters.
Yeah, well, really, we do.
We collected about 750 units of blood in 2010 from Logan County, not from Logan County residents, but at Logan County blood drives. That doesn't count all the good folks that come into our donor center or go elsewhere because they work there. But in Abraham Lincoln Hospital used about 950. So, you know, there is a need in Logan County for those donors.
In fact, about this time of year, isn't it when you start sending out a plea? Because the busy season is here, people in the summer travel more and get more fish hooks stuck in their head.
Exactly. There are a couple times a year that we really do have to start begging and pleading with people because people get busy. They go on vacations and they get busy with the holidays. So it's around the Christmas holiday season, New Year's. It's around Memorial Day, July 4th, and Labor Day. Those high travel seasons when people are out and about. Well, it's those same activities that cause the accidents that need the blood that pull people away from donating. So it's quite ironic, but we start to amp up our calling.
Is there a period of time? I'm sorry, did you?
No, I was just looking at you.
Just raise your hands with anything. It's okay, I'll watch. Is there a period of time that blood can be kept before it becomes freezer burned or something?
Yes, that's exactly right. We typically take 1 unit of whole blood, typically. And we typically do a process called leukoreduction, which removes the white cells. And we also typically separate that whole blood into red cells, platelets, and plasma. The red cells can then last for 42 days on the shelf. Platelets can last for 5 days. And then plasma, when it's frozen, can last up to a year. So after that point, yes, it does become freezer burn. What we do, because we do 14 different tests on each unit of blood, about a day's worth is taken up by testing. So you can already see that for the platelets, the 5 days is already down to 4. Taken to a weekend, that's really viable for 2. So we are very careful about recruiting for platelets and also double red cells. Now we always need whole blood, all types, all kinds, always, because you never know who's going to need it when. We are a little bit more selective when it comes to recruiting for platelets, and that's a platelet-only donation. It takes about an hour and a half. I tried it once, took me 2.5 hours. What they do is they put a needle into your arm, take out what they need, separate it, and spin it right there and put everything back, except for what they're taking, which is the platelets, along with saline. So you leave feeling as hydrated as you did when you came in. Now, platelet donors can come in quite frequently. They can come in every 2 weeks, so they can donate about 23 times a year. And then we also do double red cell collection, which is when we take 2 units of red cells out of you and put everything else back. And those donors can only donate 3 times a year. The red cells are great for the patient because you're getting one product. Your body does not have to fight off that product because you're going to be building antibodies no matter whenever you have a foreign substance in your body's going to react to it, even if it's life-saving blood. So if you give the same product, 2 units of the same product to the patient, they'll just have to fight just a little bit less. So we only take a few types of those, and it just depends on our inventories, what we're taking at that time. So yes, we always take all kinds of whole blood, but the platelets and the non-leuko-reduced whole blood, and then the double red cells we are a little bit more selective with.
Is everything you take separated into these 3 elements?
Not everything.
People can use them whole?
My understanding is that usually the doctors will request for a specific patient a non-leuko-reduced blood, and that means that we would not take out the white blood cells, and we would not separate it into those 3 parts. But essentially, when you are giving a unit of blood, almost all the time that is going to a single unit of whole blood. That is going to actually end up in 3 different people. So you are actually helping to save and improve the lives of 3 different people.
Excuse me.
No, please.
No.
Well, what's the use of these 3 different elements that you get from the blood? The platelets and the list.
There's basically there's basically 4 components of blood, and I am not a scientist. I did not go to school for nursing or anything. But red cells carry oxygen. The platelets are a clotting thing that are typically used for cancer and leukemia patients. Plasma is also another clotting product, and that goes quite frequently to burn patients. Burn patients. And the white cells we don't normally have a use for, but like I said, upon doctor's orders, we will keep those white cells in that unit and give it to the patient. And the white cells, they fight infection. So if a patient is really needing to fight off infection, that would be a reason that they keep those leukocytes in that unit.
Are any one of those 4 elements something that can bypass the need for the labeling of the A and the B and the positive and the negative? And
no, we have to label. Oh my gosh, yes. In fact, the type of blood is actually something that we test for 3 times. We test for it, we outsource for it, and the hospitals will test it in their own blood banks themselves. Because if you gave the wrong type to the wrong person, that's a severe allergic reaction. That's not good. So that's something that there's really that's really, really serious. We just can't make that mistake. So no, we always need to know what type it is, and the type of blood that is needed by a patient will not change dependent upon the product that they're receiving. So they always need they need the type of blood or product that they need.
Who is the universal donor and why?
Good question. It's an O negative. So there's A, there's B, there's A, B, and O, and those are both positive and negative. And again, that's all hereditary, which you end up with. O negative is called the universal donor because they can give to anyone, including other O negatives. That's what we would need. We always need a really good stash of that because that's what we would need in a car accident, gunshot victim, when we have no time to type the victim. And on average, a gunshot or car accident will use about 50 units of blood, but they can use up to 250 units of blood. So that's 250 different donors that spent about an hour of their time giving just so that one patient can survive. But O negative is what we would need in that instance. Typically, if it's something for a cancer patient or leukemia patient, we'll have typed that patient, and we'll be able to match them perfectly. The AB positive is called the universal recipient, and they can actually receive from anyone, including other AB positive. So,
if we had a disaster, God forbid, but of course, look at what happened in Japan. If we had a local disaster here that required many units of blood, would the Central Illinois Bank be hard-pressed to supply at what level, a given number?
That's a good question. We strive for a 5-day supply on the shelves to get us through a normal working day. Which includes a couple of unexpected accidents. So we strive for a 5-day supply, And we have been able to maintain that for quite some time. We are very cautious with that goal in mind, that we never want to be in that position where something happens or a patient comes in and we don't have it. If we don't have it, we have a backup system. Now that we've merged with the MVRBC, of course, we have access to a wider range of donors. But we are also members of 2 national organizations that kind of help us out, the America's Blood Centers and the American Blood Banking. So we have that to rely on. Red Cross supplies 50% of the nation's blood. Independent community blood centers supply the other 50%. And Red Cross joins their efforts together in the same way that we join our efforts together. Now, we don't share usually. I mean, that's just not normal. But if it was ever needed, we have it there in place. Now, if an accident did happen, if a major crisis did happen, like September 11th, we actually set up shop in Hoagland Center, I believe. I wasn't there at the time, but that's my understanding because of the overflow of donors. It was basically a huge blood drive in addition to our donor center. And we will take that those donors up to a point. The problem with the crisis is that there's usually, people want to do something, anything to help out, not feel helpless. And giving blood is a great way to do that, but it's something that we need 365 days a year. It's not just for a crisis. We have to have that blood on the shelf, processed, tested, and ready for any crisis. After the fact, it takes a couple days to get that to those people. So we have to have that ready when it happens. Now, so yes, if a crisis did occur, we could handle it, but we would need some backup support, and we would need an outpouring of donors. And at some point after September 11th, we said, we just, after it was clear that there wasn't going to be a need for obvious reasons for the blood, we said we don't want to take it because we don't want to waste it. We can only take so much.
Mrs. Busby's busy writing notes, so I'm going to defer to her for a minute before I ask a question.
What's the most common type of blood that you see with your donors? A
positive. It's about 38% of the population, myself included. It's the most common type.
And I think we have a question. That'd be correct, Mr. Ash? And if you'll, Jessica, put your headsets on. And we'll go. I believe as soon as she gets her headsets on, we're going to go right ahead and say, go ahead, caller, please. Go right ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi. I wanted to say a kudos to the people who do not donate blood. I am a blood recipient. And I had to have 10 units of blood and 9 units of plasma when I gave birth to our son. So I wanted to say thank you, and now I am a blood donor.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story, too.
Nothing like something up close and personal
Well,
to
young lady,
make you a participant.
You saw the need. It came to you when you needed it, and you decided to give back. And kudos to you, my dear.
Yes, I had to wait a year to start donating. But
after the transfusion, you have to wait a year.
Yeah, but I wanted to say thank you. I was a very high-risk pregnancy, and there was a risk of bleeding out. And so, but yes,
We're glad you made it.
Yes, well, thank you.
Well, thank you for calling. Thank you very, very much. There's a good positive report.
Wow.
And I just want to say
I
that...
wanted to ask you, Jessica, you mentioned Red Cross, and of course that's what we think in terms of in the early going, Red Cross had their blood donor stations, came around all the time. Do they still do that? Central Illinois Bank is here, and there's no competition per se, not at all. I don't mean to infer that at all, not by any stretch. But does Red Cross still collect as they did in the past?
Yes, they do.
And do they still visit the community? I don't know.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They still come here, do they?
They've got monthly blood drives at the sports complex on, I believe it's the first and third Wednesday of every month.
Okay. All right. Now there's a regular schedule. If somebody could set themselves up, let's again refer to how long one should wait before they come back again. And I know some donors who were regularly there. Charlie Anderson comes to mind. Regularly there, just to almost to the minute when they can give again.
And that's actually another good every 56 days is when you can donate. So about every 8 weeks, every other month. Now, we have a new rule in effect in December of 2010 that we call red blood cell loss. The FDA regulates how much blood you can give, how many blood cells you can give in 1 year, which is basically equivalent to six pints and a little bit of something for testing. We used to calculate this on a calendar year, January 1st to December 31st. We now calculate that on a rolling calendar. So if you are one of those amazing donors that donates on the dot every 56 days,
there are those out there.
The 7th time that you try to donate doing it that way, you're not going to be able to donate. You're going to be put out for 1 day. And that's because we have to regulate how much red blood cell loss that you're giving. We don't want to put our donors in danger, and we have to conform to FDA regulations. So while we love those consistent donors, if you are those every 56 days on the dot, please understand that on that 7th time of donating, you will be asked to wait a day, which is unfortunate because when we come to the blood drives at the Lincoln Masonic Center, those are typically about every 56 days. Now, in the holidays, we do it the week before, so most of those donors will not be affected.
Go ahead, Judith.
You mentioned something when we were off the air that I thought was so interesting, a service that the Central Illinois Community Blood Center performs for some people who find themselves in the enviable or unenviable situation of producing too much blood within their own body. I have never heard of that in my life.
You're not going to make me say the name of that disease again.
No, because it wouldn't make any difference to me if you said it. I wouldn't know what you were talking about anyway.
There is a percentage of the population, we call them HEMA patients or HH patients, hereditary hemochromatosis, HH patients, that need to give blood. And those patients may or may not be blood donors. They may not be eligible to donate to the community blood supply. But we do offer that because we are a nonprofit. We do provide charitable services, and that is one of our charitable services is that we take that blood from them and destroy it, if appropriate, properly.
Well, if you have an oversupply, it beats bringing out the leeches.
Yes.
That's what they used to do.
That's what they used to do.
If you haven't ever seen a leech, I think you wouldn't like it.
No. Our smiling nurses and phlebotomists are far preferable to the leeches.
Much. Is it necessary that you know your blood type?
No, absolutely
because you wouldn't believe me anyway if I told you. I could be wrong, right?
One of the great things about being a blood donor is that we will mail you a card, a wallet card. And for all our donors that are listening now, you will be receiving a new card in the mail in the next couple of weeks, a very shiny new plastic card. And I
got mine this week.
Awesome.
Yes.
And that will speed up the process when you do give. But your blood type will be on that card, and you put that card in your wallet because if you are heaven forbid, ever in an accident, they can identify what type you need at that point. And I have seen some amazing examples of ancient blood donor cards that we've had over the years because those donors keep those cards in their wallets. I mean, it's quite amazing.
But your blood type never changes.
There have been a few documented cases where it has changed, but it's not like, it just doesn't just change overnight. Something has to happen, like you have to have a large transfusion of blood or something like that. I mean, a large, completely replace your blood volume.
What sort of circumstances would make you ineligible to donate?
Generally,
drunk.
Yes, that is a very good one. There are most of our deferrals are temporary. So if we ask you to wait, it's usually going to be 2 weeks for if you're feeling sick, like with a fever or an infection or on antibiotics. You're going to have to wait 2 weeks to get off of those. Travel restrictions for malarial areas, there's about a year. And there's a lot of areas that we do not accept because of the malarial risk, which may not show up for many weeks or months after your return into the U.S. So we have to put a 1 year deferral on that. But generally, donors who are 16 years old or older, 110 pounds or more, in reasonably good health, which means free of communicable diseases, not on antibiotics, can give.
And if you've been to Burkeview, it's okay.
You don't consider that a big travel, huh?
Well, the old cock on the wall has said that we have to quit talking about giving blood, and we're sorry about that, because this is one man's gift to man that the average street person can contribute to. And we appreciate very much your being here. You know, we try to end the viewpoints with some saying that's relevant to the subject matter, and I found that the only person who you can't criticize when you lay down on the job is a blood donor. Thank you for Viewpoints.
Thank you.